Hey guys, welcome back to the Letterhead Studios. This is a playthrough of Miitopia that I'm currently live streaming on Twitch. I thought I'd shake up the video style a bit. I don't think many people do it this way, so at the very least it's going to be fairly different from what you're probably used to seeing. I'll just be talking about some of the character decisions, the choices I'm making with my relationship growths and purchases, and highlighting some of my favorite moments as seen during the live stream. I'll have some relevant footage going on in the background as I'm going through this, and showing replays of some of the fights so I can talk more in detail about the strategy. So the idea behind my interpretation of the Dark Lord was someone who is so upset about his own face being messed up that he steals the faces of others to make himself feel better. Unfortunately, Miis don't really allow for me to make asymmetrical faces, which is what I really wanted to do. I decided to name him after Picasso. The joke being that although he had many styles of artwork, he is generally more well known for his surrealist art where the faces are misaligned jigsaw puzzles. I thought it was a really clever choice. Now, I think most people really enjoy memeing it up and picking some wacky characters for the townfolk and their team, but I'm gonna keep it simple and use the default or randomly generated options for the townspeople. And for my team, I'm going to be picking friends and original characters. So obviously, I decided to choose myself as the main character. I did a quick design based on a younger version of myself as I felt I had a way better hairstyle back then. I quickly found out that Miitopia allows you to add details to the eyes and even gives you wig options. I could not resist giving myself some stylized anime hair. At any rate, here's the bit where it all really starts. I'll let that play out normally and come back when it's over. Dark Lord Picasso.
I am the Dark Lord, Picasso. I've come to wreak havoc and terror on this miserable little world. And I'm starting with you, people of Greenhorn. Time to taste true fear. Say goodbye to your faces.
No! Her face just disappeared. What a surprisingly terrifying concept. Oh, it's terrible. Their faces.
This will do nicely for now. Listen up, you faceless freaks. Get used to a life of wordless terror, because that's what you're stuck with. And those who've been spared. Take a nice long look at your poor little friends. And despair! So long.
And then he disappears like a little jerk. So obviously we gotta fight the monsters and free faces. It is an absolutely terrifying concept if you really think about it, but we are going to not think about that too hard and enjoy some wacky fun. The first fight isn't too hard, but with only melee strikes, it's pretty easy to worry about the fights later on down the line. Thankfully, after freeing your first face, the game gives you your first teammate pretty early on. For my first teammate, I chose my friend Sammy to play the role. She loves playing D&D, and I typically see her adopting the rogue class, so I gave her the thief job. I now know that personalities give you battle quirks, and some personalities synergize better than others, but I'm gonna stick with the ones I gave them regardless. For Sammy, I know she isn't always like this, but when she's at her best, she is full of energy, so I gave her the energetic personality. I'm a bit of a goofball myself, but the game is already doing a super good job of making everyone equally goofy, so I gave myself the cautious personality type. It would seem the main character doesn't get too many options to see their own quirk manifest too often, but I'm liking that I get the random chance to just finish off an enemy regardless of its remaining HP. Now, if only it happened during boss fights. For our first boss-like encounter, we have Largo. He's pretty straightforward. Just do your most damaging attacks and be mindful of your HP. If you have any snacks or sprinkles, don't be afraid to use them during this fight, as you'll be able to reach the inn almost immediately after. It's worth noting that you only get the reward for freeing a specifically named character's face when you go back to talk to them. Now, what's interesting about Miitopia is that it features an auto-scroller map with different paths that you can choose. You can repeat the same map to allow you to pick different options later. You'll know that you've picked all your options when the map is marked by a yellow flag. And when selecting a map, you're also given a nice preview of all the routes you've already unlocked, which makes it really helpful for completionists who want to unlock all the differing paths. For our first path, we got the option to pick an easy path or a hard path. I admit I felt fairly confident about the way the fights have been playing out so far and went for the hard path. I would only recommend taking this path if you have 3 characters, or a singular character that can hit every enemy with one attack. I lucked out by giving Sammy the Thief class, as it allows her to hit every enemy with a single swipe. She also hits really hard, too. About an hour in, and we finally get access to our next party member. For this one, I chose my friend and Twitch moderator, Stoneheart. We designed his Mii right before starting the game, and I asked him which job he would want in advance. Surprisingly, he actually felt right at home with the cleric role. So since it's fairly early in the game and I didn't feel like struggle bussing, I decided that there wouldn't be a better time than now to bring him in. Stoneheart's a pretty chill guy, so we gave him the laid-back personality. We'll get back to that later. It isn't too much longer that we encounter Picasso again, but we are quite ready to beat him. Thankfully, we are saved by a powerful sage. I was not prepared for this character's appearance. When the mystery voice hinted we had a 4th teammate who got lost, I had already had someone in mind and the job I wanted for them. I panicked a little when I saw this character because I thought, oh no, I've become a party member and I wouldn't be allowed to choose their job. None of those worries came true. As far as I know, the sage character is just someone you'll bump into from time to time. I gave the role to Ruby, an identity that I'm afraid will have to remain a mystery for the time being. You might have remembered before how I was talking about how some personalities were better for some roles than others. Well, the laid-back cleric does some rather silly things, like hiding behind other teammates when he's about to be attacked. It understandably leads to them getting pretty mad and can potentially lead to creating tension in the relationship, a thing that you really want to improve over time so you get neat battle perks. My goal is to try and get everyone a good jump start on specific relationship quirks so that they can build themselves up over time while on the battlefield. And building relationships is pretty fun. All the wacky scenes make the game super enjoyable. Here's one of my favorites. It's so cute. A present? Saw this and thought of you. Have a present. You're sure? What is it? Handkerchief. Oh. Thank you. Kind of happy. Sammy. Uh-oh, so Sammy likes Tommy and saw it all. Sammy's jealous of Stoneheart. Why is that so true? It is true. Sammy would totally creep on somebody. Oops. Gotta read them all. Oh my god, Stoneheart! Oh my, that's a lot of reading material. He turned old. Oh my god! We're so in sync. I'm feeling the burn. Their bond is as strong as their muscles. Okay. Good lord. So here's where I made my first mistake. I tried going into the cavern area of the map far too soon. I would highly suggest clearing out the other bits of the map and securing all the different paths, as well as obtaining your 4th party member and leveling them up a bit before going here. The Banshee in this cave hit really hard. Just one attack and I was lying flat on my back. Perhaps me and Stoneheart should have spent less time fawning over Ruby and more time preparing for an actual fight. It isn't too long after that, though, that we welcome Odette to the team. Odette is actually an original character I made way back when Bitstrips was super popular. I used the website to make my own webcomics, and Odette was my favorite character I ever made on there. Sadly, the website is no longer operational after Snapchat acquired the rights to Bitmoji. So I do what I can to preserve the memory of my favorite comic creation. And what better way than turning her into a Mii? I chose the Popstar class and gave her the cool personality. She's fairly energetic, but I didn't want to repeat personality types if I could help it, so this was the next best thing. With our 4th party member added to the team, I think I'm gonna wrap up this video here. I know a lot of this video is just me talking, so thanks for making it this far with me. In the next video, I want to combine a little more of the actual gameplay with my narration, so I hope that balances out the constant exposition. We got 3 more faces to find, so we're gonna cover all that in the next video. I hope to see you there, so until next time, stay tuned. Here's to our heroic travels. Hooray!